Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another video right here on Free Will Photos. Today, we're going to be taking a look at how we can remove or reduce shine in a portrait. And this is one of those things that just happens when skin is really oily or the light source is really hard or really close, whatever it may be. And you just want to reduce it so you can have even tones in the image. Now, this video is not sponsored, but Retouch4me did send me the plugin so that way I can showcase it and explain how to use it because this is a problem that I need to solve in the real world. Now, if you'd like to pick up this plugin and save a little bit of money on the purchase, consider using the link in the description box below. It is an affiliate coupon and affiliate link, which means I do make a commission from everyone who uses it, but it's at no extra cost to you. Now let's go ahead and jump into the computer and take a look at this plugin. All right, so here we are inside of the computer, and you can see I am not inside of On One Photo Raw today. Instead, I'm starting inside of Affinity Photo. And the reason for that is when I work with like retouching portraits in detail, I usually start inside of Affinity Photo, at least for this particular project. And so what you can notice here is I have a lot of shine on the model's face here. And this just happens to be my daughter. So, I want to make sure that I deliver a really well polished image for her. Now, the issue is if you add in something like, let's go with a adjustment layer here. So we'll click here and we'll add in something like a curves. A lot of people like to use the curves, and you can, kind of just pull down and try to reduce those highlights. This is like a common method that people try to use, but you'll notice that it just never really goes away. And obviously I'm not doing the best job that I probably could. And so that's where a plugin like the Retouch4me Mattifier really comes in handy. So let's go ahead and just delete that. And we're going to duplicate this layer, Command or Control J, Command J if you're on a Mac. And we're going to come up to Pixel, Filters, come down to Plugins, and then we're going to come down to Retouch4me. And the plugin that we're going to be using today is Mattifier, Retouch4me Mattifier. You can see I have a lot of plugins from Retouch4me, but the one that is helpful for today's content is the Mattifier plugin. So we'll go ahead and click this, and it is going to open here inside of Affinity Photo. It's in its own little workspace, just like all other plugins would ever work. But right away, it's already added in the mattifier at 50%. And I'll be honest with you, 50% seems to be the best for at least my personal touch or my personal workflow. And so let's go ahead and take a look at before. If you come over here on the left side, and I will go over this interface here in a second, but if I come over here and turn off the adjustment by clicking this top icon, this is the hide and showing the original layer, and then I let it go, you can see it's reducing those highlight areas really well. Now, of course, I want to be honest, I should have gotten this right in camera, but sometimes you just can't get everything right in camera, and it's great to have access to plugins like this that allow you to recover those highlights and reduce the issue on the image. Now, let me go ahead and pull down on the blend here so you can see how this kind of just comes back all the way to original. And then you pull all the way up. And I think that 100% is a little too strong specifically for this image, but sometimes an image may need a little bit more. And so for today, I'm going to go ahead and drop this somewhere around 50% because I think that that makes sense. Now, ideally, once you're done with that, that's all you would have to do. You would come over here, click apply. It'll come back as a layer. Now, before we do that, I do want to go over the interface, especially if this is something that you are considering picking up for your own photos and your own workflows. And so, as I mentioned before, this top one, it's the hide button. So that way you can hide the effect and look at the original image. And then when you let it go, then it shows you what the mattifier tool is doing to your photo. The next button down, this is actually the affected areas that the Retouch4me Mattifier is picking up on. So let me go ahead and click on here, and click and hold, and you can see those hot spots that are showing up on my daughter's face. And this is just letting you visualize what's actually happening with the mattifier tool, where those effects or the areas that are going to be impacted. Extremely helpful for those who need a visual of what's going on. All right. Good way of confirming what's happening here. The next thing is just a pan tool. You can move around. If you zoom in, it just allows me to move around. That's all that this tool really does. Then we have a brush tool. Now, if you don't like what you are seeing here, let me just get this centered up on here. There we go. And so if you don't like what you're seeing as far as the mask, like let's say I don't really want to work with this area over here. I'm going to make my brush size a little bit larger so that way I'm not sitting here painting like all day long forever. I'm just going to go ahead and paint over this area, and it's going to apply areas. Now, if I grab the eraser, because that's what I should have grabbed if I wanted to remove this, right? We can go ahead and paint over this area. And now that area will not be impacted by the mattifier tool. All right. And then this is just an inversion tool. So if I want to select the opposite of these red areas, then I can click this inversion tool. But I don't want to do that. And I don't necessarily want the area that I had erased to be protected. And so I'm just going to go ahead and brush that right back in. And down here at the bottom, you have a few options. The human scale detection, I usually just work on this on automatic. This wasn't necessarily intended to be a tutorial on the plugin, so I don't want to go super deep into this, but based off of the type of image you're working on, as you can see, this is a close-up portrait. So this is what I would select. But if I was going with like a half-length portrait, I would click this one. And of course, if you have a full-length portrait, you would click this one. And what this does is it tries to detect where the face is for the person. And sometimes the auto may think that this is a half length portrait, but it's actually a full length portrait, or a close up portrait, I should say. Either one, then it's just giving you the opportunity to change this. All right. And so the last option here is layer mode. And this allows you to output the result to a layer for non-destructive editing. And so depending on how you like to work in your photo editing software, you may want to have layer mode, but for me, I created an extra layer before I triggered this plugin, so I personally don't need to create an additional layer. But if you forgot to do that, well, Retouch4me was kind enough to give us an option here to add in that layer mode. So that way you can have a non-destructive editing workflow if that's something that you care about. And so once that's all said and done, you just go ahead and click apply, and Retouch4me has now given me that edited image. And so if I turn this layer off and on, you can see the impact that it's having on the photo already. And it's just that simple. And so now I can continue on with my post-production editing workflow to polish up this image just a little bit more. So hopefully you found some value in this content and just how simple it is to fix highlights on your portrait images if that's something that you run into on a regular basis. Again, if you like to pick up the Mattifier plugin, consider using the link down in the description box below. It'll take you over to a page where you can save some money when you purchase the plugin. I do make a commission from everyone who uses that link, but it's at no extra cost to you, so it's a win-win. If you got questions, comments, leave them down below. And until next time, I want you to stay inspired and keep creating. Peace.